Greetings and salutations, loyal viewers of this channel. My name is Sean, and today we gotta talk about Joe Biden, the man, the myth, the legend, the president of the United States, the most voted on candidate of all time, the man who won the Democratic primary only to have it stolen away from him via a coup from Kamala Harris, putting on a MAGA hat in a Pennsylvania fire station in his one last FU to Kamala for stealing the nomination from him. This was absolutely amazing. This may have been considered an old man dementia mistake by some, but I believe it is a true signal to his true feelings about Kamala Harris being an absolutely horrible person, horrible candidate, and of course, one of the architects of the coup against him that stole the nomination from him despite the fact that she got 0 votes. Now, we're going to get into this, but before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money, okay?
There he is.
So a lot of people have been showing videos to demonstrate the difference between the evil orange man showing up to a firehouse and between Joe Biden and Kamala Harris showing up to a firehouse. But the fact of the matter is, this Pennsylvania video of Joseph R. Biden interacting with a Trump supporter is the truth. It is distilled amazement, and we all need to analyze this frame by frame as if it's the Zapruder film. And the reason why is because never in the history of this great country have we seen anything like it. And honestly, I believe that this is truly an endorsement of the evil orange man from Joseph R. Biden, and I gotta give credit where credit is due. And by the way, for those of you who are like, Sean, your voice is very sarcastic, shut up. Shut your face. Don't ever talk to me again. Go home right now. Say a bunch of Hail Marys to President Biden because he is the great one, the legend, the undefeated, 10 for 10 or 11 for 11 in general elections, and he was robbed by Kamala Harris, and we're not going to support it.
Trump hat, I'll give you my presidential hat. Presidential seal on it.
You want to autograph it?
Oh, sure I'll autograph it.
Huh?
Yeah.
You remember your name?
I don't remember my name. I'm slow.
So right off the top, we have this interaction, and it's fun, honestly, between Joe Biden and this Trump supporter in this firehouse, and this guy says to Biden, "Do you even remember your name?" And Biden responds by saying, "I don't even remember my own name. I'm an old guy." And they have this back and forth banter that honestly brings me back to the good old days in the United States of America, where an average random person at a firehouse could trash talk a president to his face, and we can see the video of this, and then we can crack up, except for the fact that I don't believe this actually has ever happened in the history of our great country. But it is very funny, and I have to give credit for Joe Biden, because in his dementia brain or whatever, he seems to be playing along, having a good time. And by the way, his handlers, the guy who brings him over a pen, he gets absolutely 0 credit in this particular interaction, because of all the times that they pulled Joe Biden aside, got him out of situations, this guy left him hanging high and dry, and in fact, gave him a pen in order to sign the hat, so he was close enough that he should have been able to hear some of this information that was being exchanged, but he did nothing. So the absolute loser of this interaction, the person who is likely to be fired, is Pen Man right there, because he had an opportunity to prevent this epic moment from happening, and in my opinion, he's kind of an American hero for not doing it, but from the Democratic perspective, this guy, he did not do a good job, so shame on this guy.
You're an old part.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm an old guy.
And you're an old part.
I know you would know about that.
What?
About being old.
Oh, I know.
All right.
I'm a young timer.
The these two guys have their back and forth. He calls Joe Biden an old fart. Joe Biden says he is old and all that. And it ultimately ends up culminating in the hat thing. But just before that, where Joe Biden says, he reminds me of one of the guys I grew up. There's always one in the neighborhood. And I do want to point out that this is like that folksiness from Joe Biden, which you don't get from Kamala Harris, where he is trying to joke around. He's just too old to realize what's going on. But even in his old age, the great one, the people's champion, Joe Biden, is still trying to have fun for the situation, just before, of course, he embarrasses himself.
You know, he reminds me of the guys I grew up with. There was always one in the neighborhood.
Well, I'm the only one.
So he says he grew up with guys like this, there's always one in the neighborhood, and I guess this is Joe Biden reflecting on him growing up in the black church, as he has said in the past, or growing up in the synagogue, as he has said in the past he has done, or growing up and being raised by the Puerto Rican community, again, as Joe Biden has actually said in his many a fake backstories, as he's signing the hat for this guy with the presidential seal on it. But then this man, this American hero, this champion, decides that he's going to hand him the MAGA hat, and people are going to yell for him to put it on.
There you go, man. I need that hat.
You want my autograph?
Hell no.
You know my name. Come on.
I ain't going that far.
So right here, Joe Biden says, I need that hat, and the guy says, you want my autograph? Biden says, hell no. And again, you might be thinking that Biden is actually a little coherent here. He's just having fun with the voters and all that. But then something magnificent happens. But then something crazy happens. And by the way, I ended up calling this a MAGA hat. It actually just says Trump on it. It's a Trump 2024 hat, which, I mean, should be more obvious to Joe Biden. You know, you could forget the Make America Great Again thing is Trump's freaking slogan, but it would be very weird for you to forget that Trump, the name across the top of the hat, is the guy that you were running against, is the guy that Kamala Harris is running against. But what is about to happen is just a moment in history. What is about to happen is going to change the political alignment of this great nation for the better, because the Biden bots are going to support the evil orange man.
Hell no.
You know my name. Come on.
I ain't going that far.
Yeah.
So people right here are telling him to put it on. You have another one of Biden's helpers coming by, taking the pen from him, and you could actually see right here this pathetic way that this guy, if you see the little hand, is trying to grab the MAGA hat from him, but Biden is not having it. He decides to respond to somebody in the crowd who tells him to put it on, and he's saying, I'm not going that far. But you could see the energy is coming from the crowd for him to put on the hat. What the people are trying to do is get Joe Biden to tell the truth about the coup d'etat that Kamala Harris launched against him, about how they deposed him from the Democratic nomination, and Joe Biden is contemplating. You might think he's demented right now. You might think he doesn't know where he is right now. You might think that Joe Biden is just this loony old man whose brain doesn't work, but the fact of the matter is, he's not only inside there thinking, he's inside there dancing. He's trying to hear the tune, and he's going to signal to everybody out there in the audience, everybody out there in the world, that he had the nomination stolen from him with this next action, with this next step. And yes, I am being amazingly sarcastic.
Then you do a selfie. There he goes. Hey, I'm proud of you now.
That is amazing. And the reaction from the crowd is amazing, the standing ovation that he ended up getting. But more importantly, we've been monitoring the Joe Biden crew this whole time, and you could see this guy who's trying to grab the hat in a pathetic way from Joe Biden, he just jumps out of frame. He was barely in frame to begin with, but he just dashes out of there. He's like, hell no. Everybody near this man is going to get fired when Jill Biden figures out what went down here. So he's just exiting frame in the hopes that Joe Biden won't remember to identify all the people that were with him when he decided to do this. But I gotta say, This is hilarious. And honestly, the big smile on Joe Biden's face is part of the reason why I've been telling people you're never going to turn this man into Hillary Clinton, because he's too damn likable. He's too damn entertaining. He might be a horrible president. He might have absolutely terrible policies. He might be mentally incompetent to serve in office. But the fact of the matter is, he's charming. And you got to respect that.
Hey, I'm proud of you now.
I'm sorry, but how is this not the greatest thing you've ever seen? Joe Biden gets into it with a random guy at a fire station. They have a back and forth. The crowd is listening intently. The guy hands him the hat. People say, put it on. Everything in all of politics says that Joe Biden should not put on that damn hat. He should 100% not wear the hat of the political opponent that he's called an evil white racist and all these crazy things, a threat to democracy, and then he does it. Then the guy, laughing, says he's proud of Joe Biden, and Joe ends up shaking his hand, and in his brain, Joe Biden thinks, you know what? I just won this guy over. In his brain, he thinks, you know what? Everybody in this crowd is going to vote for me in 2024 until he remembers that he's not on the ballot because Kamala Harris initiated a coup against him and stole the nomination from him. But yeah, this is amazing. This might be one of the greatest pieces of footage I've ever seen in my entire life, and I too am proud of Joe Biden. I had him winning the 2024 election because he is the people's champ. He is the most votes getting president of all time, and Kamala Harris ended up stealing that victory from him, ended up stealing that second term, and he has decided that he's not going to have it. He's dancing inside that brain of his, and he's decided he's going to dance her victory away because she should have never been the nominee.
Just remember that no eating dogs and cats.
Hey, they're good.
Thank you.
They're good.
So Biden ends up closing up by telling people not to eat dogs and cats, and I just have to say, didn't get the laughs that people expected, but I felt it, buddy. Joey, I saw what you were trying to do, and I can respect it, I can understand it, I can feel it, and honestly, the American people should feel it. This was a national treasure that was ripped away from us by Team Obama, by the big Democratic Party donors, and in its place, they installed Kamala Harris, one of the most unlikable presidential candidates in American history, somebody who is too cowardly to sit for an interview, and Joe Biden, not even running, Joe Biden, demented, is more willing to face the opposition than Kamala Harris will ever be. But you know what? Those are just my thoughts. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you like the video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on my social medias, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about Joe Biden going full MAGA. Till next time.